Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second Manchester Masons podcast run by the MLC, Manchester Level Club at Manchester. Today, we've got a brilliant guest, which is, we'd just like to welcome Julie Ward, Director of Operations of ELMC, East Lancashire Masonic Charity, which was incorporated on the 13th of January, 1904. We'll be hearing all about the fantastic work ELMC do today. So welcome, Julie. Thank you very much for joining with us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for asking me.
I know, thank you. I see you dressed up today for VE.
Yes, not our normal uniform, but yeah, we're all dressed up. We've got army uniforms, land girls, nurses, RAF, so everybody looks really good.
Oh, yeah, I've come on the dress, I think, first. But no, thank you so much for joining. I know we had a quick chat last week.
Welcome.
There is phenomenal work that has been done by ELMC. How I'd like to open, if it's okay with you, is the fantastic story about your parents and the history of Freemasonry with your mother and father.
Yeah, and let me apologise first if there's any background noise, because I am at Hewlett Court. There's lots going on, so there might be the odd phone ringing, so I apologise, initially. Okay.
Right. Keep it busy.
Yeah. So yeah, it was about the late 70s where my parents got the job as stewards at Helmsley House of the Masonic Hall.
That's it. The photo of you and your mother there just come up.
That's it. That was when on my 18th, we had a party at the Masonic Hall. Yeah. So me and my sister and the family moved there because it was living premises at the time.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic for us to be brought up in that sort of environment with every week functions going on, and particular ladies' evenings, and seeing all the ladies in the lovely dresses. So it was a really nice way of being brought up. And, meeting our Masonic family, because that's what it always felt like as well, the people who we came across and met along the years.
Yeah, am I right in saying that they were the last living stewards at Salford? Is that correct?
Yes, they were. Yeah, so a lot of the Salford Freemasons now still remember them as well. And, they often talk fondly of them. Yeah, and my dad joined Broughton Lodge. And that was 82 that he joined. Yeah, 82. And he absolutely loved being a Freemason.
How long were they at Salford?
They were there for about 10 to 15 years. It was altogether. Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah.
And you helped out in the cloakroom and behind the bar, didn't you?
One of our first jobs as teenagers was to run the cloakroom with the raffle tickets and taking all the lovely fur coats that the ladies then wore at the time. So yeah, we really enjoyed doing that.
And then behind the bar, what did you serve? Were you bar backing first, or?
Yeah, so once I was 18, my dad had me working behind the bar. Yeah, so I met a lot of people that way as well. Yeah.
So you got to know everyone. That's where you get to know everyone serving behind the bar, I guess.
Got to know a lot of people, though. I was very different then. I was a bit shy then. Yeah, not anymore.
Oh, it's good. And it would be more, it's just nice to get to know a little bit more about you, because you're married to a Freemason as well. I know we have a picture of you and Charles at a ladies' evening, if we can show that as well. So it can tell us a little bit more about Charles.
Yeah, married to Charles. Charles was a member of his mother lodge was Imperial, which 5609, and they met in Manchester. And then the lodge moved from Manchester to Middleton. And then unfortunately, because of the decline in numbers, the lodge closed, which was really sad, because they used to have a lot of functions, family functions. It was a really good lodge to be part of. And now he's in Verity Lodge that meets in Blackburn, because it's nearer to where we live. So he really enjoys his Freemasonry. And
how long have you and Charles been married, Julie?
Been married since 2004.
Okay.
So I remember us going to the festival dinner, the 2004 festival at the end, and we've not been married very long at the time.
Oh, that's that. And Charles is also the chairman of the Comforts Committee, is that?
He is, yeah. He's the chairman of the Comforts Fund Committee, and that's one of the ELMC subcommittees. And his job really is to organise outings for the beneficiaries within our care. But I'll probably talk a bit more about that when we cover the ELMC committees, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. And you have 5 children, 3 grandchildren.
Yeah, 5 children between us. We've got
Yeah.
3 grandchildren. We've got those
Like
2
two children.
are the youngest ones. A little Seb is 7 months.
Oh, bless.
Millie's 3. They're absolutely adorable. And Keely's the older one. She's 18.
Yeah, so we'd like to mention that I think she's following. What does she call you, Nana, Grandma? What's the
She calls me Julie, Grandma Julie.
Grandma Julie? Because
Yeah.
I hear she's following in Grandma Julie's footsteps because she's already working in one of the halls, right?
Yeah, she started working at Middleton Masonic Hall, doing a bit of bar work and waiting on as well, and she's really enjoying it.
Getting to know everyone just like yourself.
Yeah.
And you had a son who done, was it 8 years in the Air Corps?
Yes, Jonathan in the Army Air Corps, and he now works for a company called Air Tanker when they move troops about, and he repairs aircraft. So he travels to different destinations in the world. And my daughter Lauren also works for the same company, and she's a purser, so she's runs a cabin crew as well.
Was your son an engineer?
Yes.
Yes. No, that's I love the Air Corps. I wanted to go into some sort of RAF. The Apaches and the Air Corps was one
That's
that I
what
fancied.
he was on, the helicopters. Yeah.
Oh, I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
But he did 2 tours of Afghanistan as well. So, and I think the last one he was on, Prince Harry was there around that same time as well.
Wow. Yeah, because you flew the Apaches, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there'll be some interesting stories there, but just like to congratulate him there, and I'm a little bit envious of him as well because I wanted to do that myself. So, Julie, before ELMC, what was your background? How did it all begin?
Right, I worked from leaving school. I went to sixth form college and then worked for the Inland Revenue. And everybody always goes, oh, grown Inland Revenue for about 8 years.
Attention to detail, Julie.
Yeah, and at the time that was in what would have been Victoria Bus Station in Manchester. I think the building was Highland House, and it's now a Premier Inn. So that was the tax office at the time.
Yeah, and you've done 10 years in NatWest?
Yeah, worked for NatWest as well in the HR Service Centre. Again, that was in Manchester. Enjoyed that type of work at the time. So I actually undertook a postgraduate diploma in human resource management, which I did at Salford University for about 4 years, and I graduated in 2002.
And then was that your last post before you came to ELMC? It
was at the NatWest, yes.
So the question is, what led you to work for the ELMC then?
Well, I saw at the time the advertisement was in the Manchester Evening News, and they were advertising for a welfare officer and it was the word Freemasonry that caught my attention because, of course, of my background. So I applied for the job, but the funny story is I didn't get it the first time round.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And one of the applicants had some background in the benefits system, which they thought could be useful for the job. So, but then it didn't work out. So then they called me a few weeks later. So the rest is history.
Oh, that's fate. It's fate. So I'd just like to congratulate because you're coming up to your 20th anniversary at ELMC on the 1st of July.
Yes.
Well, congratulations, Julie, because that is a really long time. And
thank you.
How are you?
Yeah, it doesn't seem a long time, I have to say. Yeah.
Are you going to celebrate? Have they got your party?
Well, I don't know. Let's wait and see. I'm sure we'll do something.
I hope so. Well, we'll send you a bottle anyway, Julie. So let us know because that is absolutely outstanding. So what other roles did you do at ELMC before you became Director of Operations?
Well, started off the job that I applied for was for welfare officer.
Yeah.
So that was really administrative support for all the beneficiaries in our care. So that's widows and brethren. That includes children as well. And we look after them when we send them birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, and they come on lots of outings as well. So yeah, that was my main role. And then I was promoted to manager of the ELMC.
Nice.
And then in 2010, the office moved to Hewlett Court, and the change in my role then was to Director of Operations. So not only was I responsible of the day-to-day running of the charity, but also overseeing the Hewlett Court as well, the running of Hewlett Court, and
So,
all the residents here.
yeah, so you got busy.
Yes.
Yeah, which leads us, we've heard a little bit, Clip, it's for people who don't know, we've heard a little bit about ELMC and the work you do already. But the big question is, what is ELMC and what do you do?
Right, so the East Lancashire Masonic Charity, because not always, people don't always recognise it by the ELMC.
Yeah.
So when we go out doing presentations, tend to use the full word at first until people get used to the name, and then everybody then knows it as ELMC.
Yeah.
So I say we look after our beneficiaries. We have about 700 beneficiaries that we look after, and that's split into categories. So we relieve poverty. It's quite an old-fashioned word, but basically Masons or their families in financial distress, we can support them. And then we put that little extra as well, the icing on the cake, as well as grants that we give them. We invite them to all these social events, and then we get to know them as well. So we get to know the people who we're looking after, which is a lot of other provinces don't do that. And, you know, that we're quite admired as well, that what we do in East Lancashire.
Yeah, so it's broken up. So you got Hewlett Court, you got the Benevolence Committee, Comfort Funds, Young People Committees, fundraising committees, grant making committees, and the investment. So you're doing quite a lot there, Julie. And
so do you want me to tell you a little bit about each of those then?
Yes, please. That would be brilliant.
So of course, Hewlett Court at the moment, we've got 30 residents. We're undergoing a redevelopment, but again, I'm going to mention a bit more about that later. So we've got 8 rooms that we can't use at the moment, and 20 people on the waiting list. Wow. So we're really eager to get that redevelopment works completed so that we can get these people in. So the residents this afternoon who see it's 75th anniversary of VE Day. So we're all dressed up, and we're having afternoon tea with them this afternoon. Due to the situation at the moment, of course, we've had to cancel all entertainment for the next few months. We've got a lady coming playing the violin for them, and she's going to be outside, so we're looking forward to that this afternoon. So there's lots going on with the residents. We're keeping them safe at the moment, keeping them entertained. We have weekly meetings with them, and they're all really happy, so we keep them up to date. Benevolence Committee, that committee has representatives of each area across the province. And what we do is look at applications for people, brethren and their dependents that have fallen on hard times, see if we can help them financially. Those applications would also go to the National Masonic Charities in London, and they would assess them too. So we can make emergency grants if we feel there is a need. So that is the financial support that Benevolence Committee provides. Chairman of the Benevolence Committee is David Lightbound. Really good chairman. He's also the chairman of the advisory committee at Hewlett Court as well. So he's on the phone to us every day, making sure we're okay.
Oh, bless.
And then we've got and David Hudson too. He's our provincial almoner as well. And he's heavily involved in the Benevolence Committee. And the Comforts Fund Committee we mentioned before. So that's Charles is the chairman. So what we provide for the beneficiaries, these are the older beneficiaries, the brethren and widows. We organise a spring party, which is usually around April, which of course we've had to cancel this year.
I know, it's a shame.
It was due to take place in Audenshaw. We have 100 people dining.
Wow.
And that's all our guest beneficiaries, as well as the officers of the charity as well. They're in attendance. So there's a dinner with entertainment, and we provide everybody with a gift. And then we all have a good night.
Do you do, is there 3 events a year that comes under the Comfort?
We then have the annual holiday. That's usually the end of May to beginning of June. But again, that's not going to be taking place. That holiday is fantastic.
Some picture there.
Yeah, for a lot of the beneficiaries, they all get together. They've all got to know each other, and they all can offer support to each other. And it's really fantastic, that holiday.
Is that where you do seven nights away? It's St. Anne's?
Yes, 7 nights. It's half board, so it's bed, breakfast, evening meal, and entertainment every night, and that is all funded by the ELMC.
Outstanding.
I'll say the benefit that has on those individuals is immense, really. You know, what they get from it, it you know, does wonders. It does the holiday, because a lot of them won't be able to have a holiday. So that's really a good thing that the charity does. And then the last event is an outing in September. So somewhere of interest. We went to Chester last year.
Oh, nice.
Took them on a boat trip, and then on a open top bus of the city. A meal first.
There's your picture again.
Yeah.
Where was this? Who was with you there that day, Julie?
That's Karen there, with Karen Hall, who is the administrator for the ELMC. And that's all the guests that we took on the trip with us.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I've liked Chester myself. So what was it there? What made them pick Chester? How did that come?
Well, for the past, I say, 20 years, we're trying to look at somewhere different. So it's just doing a bit of research into places of interest, really. Yeah. You know, using the internet mainly, looking at reviews for places. But yeah, just doing a bit of research with the committee members as well.
Oh, that's outstanding. And the 3 events you do, is it under Comfort as well, where you do the 3 events for the widows and brethren as well? Yeah,
that's under the Comforts Fund Committee, of which is Charles as the chairman. Yeah, and then we have the Young People's Committee.
Yeah.
We look after, it's quite a wide age range, because they can be starting school up to university age. Okay. We tend to have, we've got about 60 young people on our books.
60?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're connected to East Lancashire lodges. We generally ask them to outings once they've been supported by the Masonic Charitable Foundation. And then they would come on under our wing, and we would take them on outings. We organise about 6 a year.
Yeah. Where have you been in the past?
Oh, they've been go-karting, go to theatre shows, Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Lots of adventurous things that they do. Yeah,
I was saving this one for later, but just while it's come up, because you mentioned Blackburn, someone sent me a message yesterday to ask you to tell us about the story. Where can you tell us where you got stuck in the snow with a coach load of young and old beneficiaries on a coach returning from pantomime in Blackburn? So can you tell us a little bit about that, Julie, please?
Who's telling tales?
You can probably take a guess there, Julie. So what happened there?
Yeah, we did a bit of a joint venture where we had a coach from Hewlett Court. From Manchester initially, actually, yeah, from Freemasons Hall in Manchester up to Hewlett Court. So we had widows and brethren. We had young people, because we combined everybody together, and then we collected some residents from Hewlett Court as well. So we got to the theatre, which was the Thwaites' Theatre in Blackburn at the time. And when we came out, it was just white everywhere. And it took, I think we came out of the theatre at 10 o'clock. We got back to Manchester at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right, so that
at least we got there, but it took so long.
What was the initial panic when you came out?
Well, the coach driver, that when we got to Hewlett Court, 'cause it was quite bad, the road was really undrivable. It was really dangerous, but we did get here, and he carried some of the residents on his shoulders. Wow. Yeah, he'll piggyback with some of the residents to get them in the home. Yeah,
so that coach driver is pretty much Superman. He carried them and got you all back nice and safe.
It was wonderful. Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that story with us as well.
Okay.
It was asked to tell us about that. And the other thing you have, apart from the Young People's Committee, is fundraising committee and grant making as well. Can you tell us more about that?
Fundraising committee is relatively new committee. It's been going for a couple of years. It's just really to support the districts in their fundraising activities, you know, and be inclusive with them. Family events and fun events, really, and just offer that support, especially when they're raising money for the ELMC as well. Yeah,
and the investment subcommittee, is that something separate? Or?
It is, but it really sort of, it is what it says. So they basically is a group of Freemasons who protect the assets of the charity and protect our portfolio and investments.
Fair enough, because the charity actually owns Hewlett Court, if correct.
It does, yeah. The charity owns and runs Hewlett Court, so we're responsible for the running of the home.
Yeah, no, thanks. So there's plenty of work there, Julie, and I have to commend you on that, and everyone who's involved, especially as an East Lancashire Mason myself. I'd just like to say thank you, because that is some fantastic work on behalf of everyone else. But can you tell us one of your favourite ever, your best story of being at ELMC, one of your most favourite memories, if you could share that?
Oh, right, okay. I think one of my favourite moments is attending the annual holiday that we go on, because it makes you feel really humble when you've been on these holidays, and we take about 60 people.
So that's a lot.
Yeah, and by the end of it, because they have contact with their own almoners, but sometimes they don't want to tell them things that they tell us, so we get to find out a lot of things about them and their families. And it's just really rewarding. Yeah.
So your favourite's the nights away. It's getting to know people then as well.
Getting to know people. Yeah, definitely.
That's outstanding. So for us who, some people may not have heard of ELMC, or a lot of people may know, there's a wide variety there in terms of how much people know about ELMC. So I'm glad you've came on and letting us know. But for those who don't know, how do you become a member of one of the committees? How would that happen for someone?
I really would say if you let your APGM or your district chairman know that you're interested in becoming involved, when we have the AGM meetings, which in September this year, the ELMC AGM, they always say at the end, if anybody would like to become involved in the committees and help out, then just please let us know, or your district chairman or officers, and let them recommend you.
Okay, that's brilliant. And are you looking? Do you have volunteers? Are you looking for more volunteers?
I think we're always looking for volunteers, but we do have excellent volunteers within the committees as well. Yeah, they're really supportive.
Is that the same process, or can people come to you direct to help volunteer?
You can come direct if you'd like to volunteer, certainly. Yeah.
Okay. And is it open to people with non-Masonic connections? Is it open to public?
The volunteering?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, we're always keen on it. Having anybody come in and seeing what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but good. I thought I'd ask only because the outstanding, especially with the young people, which is me personally, I think is outstanding. So I didn't know how to do that. So I thought it'd be worthwhile to mention for the other brethren.
No, definitely. Anyone can contact myself as well directly, and I can guide them in the right direction.
Oh, thanks, Julie. One of the best things that we need to mention as well, I think you are one of the first and still one of the only female trustees.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. For East Lancashire. So hopefully somewhere there that I'll be part of history, and I'm very proud of that as well.
Yeah. Would you like to see any more female members?
Definitely. I mean, particularly now coming to Hewlett Court, the majority of us here who look after all the residents are female, who work here. So there's plenty of opportunity and prospects as well for the ladies who are connected to the Freemason world.
No, outstanding. Congratulations. But you have some, to be honest, quite mind-blowing and very impressive fundraisers you've done yourself. You've done a walk to, is it Peel Tower you've done a walk to?
Yeah, I think you asked me initially what my interests were.
Yeah, if we just hold off on the pictures there, Dan.
Yeah.
It's the wrong one.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So I said walking, and you asked me what my favourite walk is, which I like to walk up Holcombe Hill to Peel Tower. Then I said, well, actually, we've abseiled Peel Tower as well.
Which is the picture now Daz has just put up.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was the abseil of Peel Tower. Can you tell us more about that? What went on that day?
Yeah, in the picture as well is from left to right. It's Samantha is our supervisor at Hewlett Court, and then we've got the chairman of the charity, Chad Northcott, then myself, and then Rachel, who's our team leader at Hewlett Court. So
how high was the abseil?
Oh, I don't know actually, and I didn't really want to know how many.
Hi.
It was high. It was initially initiative from the Young People's Committee, and when it was the Teddy Bears picnic here for the tercentenary year, one of them said, "What's that tower over there?" And that's where it actually came from.
So, and then you end up abseiling it.
So they said, why don't we abseil down the tower? And they actually raised, the Young People's Committee raised over £10,000 for the ELMC. Wow. For that event. That took place on the 7th of July, 18, so a couple of years ago now.
Was that your first?
Exceptionally well.
That is outstanding. Was that your first ever abseil?
Yes, and last.
Well, to be honest, Julie, there's some more to show here. There's the last one. I'm saving the picture because it's outstanding. But there's a picture we have of the girls raising money, which the Hewlett Court girls raising money for Alzheimer's UK is how you put it. If we could show. And so who's that? Who's in the picture with you there, Julie?
Right. How did you do that? Again, from left to right, we've got Beverly. She's the manager at Hewlett Court. Who's next? I can't see the picture very well, to be honest. Right. I think Zena, she's our health and safety officer. Then Karen Hall, who I mentioned before, the administrator for the charity. Myself, and then Rachel Cookson, who's our team leader.
And did the dog do the run with you as well?
The dog did the run as well.
Oh, fair play to the dog.
Zena's dog, yeah.
How did you get?
We actually tried to do something now, all the girls together, something every year. So we think, what can we do? So that particular year it was Alzheimer's. We've done, going back some years, we've done the Great Manchester Run quite a number of times as well for different charities. The first time we did it, we raised quite a lot of money as well.
Oh, outstanding.
And then, of course, the...
the big one, because this is what literally the big one, because you said about it was high off the Peel Tower, but you done a skydive. Yes. Which we have some photos of. There's you leaving the plane and they go out of the plane. And you raised an absolutely phenomenal £19,000 that day. Yeah. So how were you feeling on the skydive day?
It was awful. It was awful. Excuse me. That was the worst. The build-up was the worst. How it came across was in a benevolence committee meeting. And there was a representative from Burnley District, Walter Coop, who was organising the skydive. Yeah. And there were 7 Freemasons from Burnley taking part. And he said, wouldn't it be nice if someone from the ELMC board could, join in? So everybody looked at me. So I was really, had my arm twisted. So I said yes. So
he said yeah, and there we go. That is absolutely amazing. How was the feeling? How was it when you landed?
When the morning of the event, it was quite scary, and then it kept being put off for a while because the wind, it wasn't the right direction. It's too windy. Yeah. So then we had some pre-meetings in the hangar. We had to put all the equipment on, and that was really scary as well. And then when we actually got in that little aircraft, he kept saying, this is what 1,000 feet looks like. This is what 2,000 feet looks like. And then it's just a case of going for it. But once we was out of that plane, it was absolutely wonderful experience.
No, well, brilliant. Was it 14,000 feet you went?
Yeah, something like that, yes.
Yeah, so when you seen 2,000, you realised you still had a lot more to go.
Exactly. Well, no, I didn't at the time.
Well, congratulations, Julian. £19,000 is a big amount of money, so congratulations.
As I say, it was a joint effort between, there was, 7 of us all together. Well, 8 of us, 7 Freemasons and myself. So it was a team effort.
Yeah, no, congratulations to you all, because that is a massive amount of money. So congratulations, and an amazing experience, I have to admit.
Oh yeah, it was it was a better experience, the abseil anyway.
Oh yeah, I bet it was. We touched a little bit about earlier on the renovation work that's been carried out. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And also you mentioned someone left a £1.6 million legacy to you, which is absolutely outstanding.
Well, the whole project for the redevelopment is costing in the region of 1.6 million. For a long time now, so Hewlett Court was built in the late 70s. So it's come a time when it needs a bit of work to the building. We need to future-proof the building, needs modernising. Done a lot of projects as we've gone along, but then it needed this last large project. All the residents in the rooms, although they had small toilet, sink, they didn't have showers. So they were having to use communal bathrooms and showers. So they've now all, once they're finished, they're all going to have wet rooms and they'll look absolutely fantastic. They really do. So we're on for the very last phase now. We've just got the 8 rooms, which they have come back working on at the moment, just a couple of them, just to make sure that we're, you know, on schedule as much as we can be. But yeah, to enable us to do that, we had a legacy of 1.3 million. The legacy was from
1.3, sorry, yeah.
A Salford Freemason, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so I know we can't, I don't know if we could mention a little bit more about him, but just, I think for myself, that man and his family have paved the way for many more Masons in the future to benefit from that, and family members.
Definitely. We always appreciate so much the legacies that we receive. Yeah. And we will, when we produce the annual accounts and reports this year, there will be a lot more detailing about that individual legacy and some of the others that we've had as well. Yeah,
so just as me and Masons, I think whoever you are, sir, and your family, we'd just like to thank you, because that is absolutely outstanding. Yeah. I do mention a little, I do ask you a question a little bit about legacies as well, if that's okay, Julie.
Yeah, certainly. Well, you know, I say we benefit greatly from legacies. It's a really sensitive subject to ask, really. So when we do go out making presentations on behalf of the charity, we do cover that and just say that if anybody can, if they can think of us in their will, you know, what a nice gesture that is. And we've I say that we've benefited greatly from that. We're very fortunate to have received those legacies. We're very grateful for.
Yeah, I was going to mention, while we're speaking about the topic, I know MCF offer out free wills to brethren and their families.
They do.
So there's a code that you can use. I know we had Steve Clark, which is the provincial charity steward, who came out and told us about that at my lodge. So anyone who's out there, I would get in touch with your MCF representative and come out and tell you about that. But how can people leave a legacy for ELMC? How do people do that, Julie?
Right, yeah, but the MCF initiative is really good at the moment, and I've got a copy of the code somewhere as well. If anybody wanted to ring me, I can give them some more information on that. Yeah. But it is a really good initiative. If you haven't got a will, it's certainly worth considering. So they do ask you the question whether you'd like to leave some money for the MCF. And indeed, the MCF wouldn't have any objections if anybody wanted to leave any money to the ELMC as well. So, no, really, it's something very personal.
Of course.
But we just try to get that message out whenever we can, if anybody can do that.
Yeah, of course. And well, we need to back our charities as well. Everything is important, but I thought something worth mentioning. We have on the MCF, there's a picture we have of our certificate that we got, because how do people you become a friend of the ELMC, which is East Lancashire Masonic Charity, and I know we've got our pins that we get. Oh, we've got it on as well. So how do you become a friend of the ELMC? How do we support you?
Yeah, so I am to a friend, and to become a friend, it's £5 a month or £60 a year. You receive a nice letter from us and your lapel pin, and also one of the members' cards as well. And you go into a draw, which is 3 times a year, the chance to win £100. So you can actually win that donation back as well. So we're so grateful to the friends that, you know, keep contributing monthly. And for, I think the longest friend we've had is over 15 years now. Somebody is continuously paid to the charity all that time.
And how do you do that, Julie? I know for ourselves, the charity students will give out a form for you to fill in, but
Yeah.
is there another way for people watching this now how they can donate to you?
Yeah, there are the gift aid forms, but the donation can also be done online. There is on the ELMC website, so elmc.co.uk, because there's a lot of information on there about the charity and what it does. There is a link to follow to do an online donation.
Yeah.
But what you have to do as well is set that up yourself with your bank, fill in all the details once you've done that, and then we can link that donation up to your details as well when it comes in.
Brilliant. There was two.
Easy. Yeah.
It is, yeah, and I recommend everyone to go do that as well. As I wear my pin very proud, and as East Lancashire Masons, we need to be supporting our charity. So everyone out there, if you haven't become a friend of ELMC, please go do that. I just like a little bit of bragging rights here, Julie, as well, because
You've got to do it, and I'd have done it if you hadn't have done.
Yeah, I know. A little bit of bragging rights. There are two pictures that's come up now earlier that Daz shown. Cornucopia of Manchester, where I thank you for our certificate that you can see there. We're the first lodge ever to receive 100% Friends of ELMC. In the picture, we've got is Mark Davis giving it to Kenny, actually.
Yes.
Which was an outstanding day. And we got the photo of the certificate as well, Daz. There it is. So absolutely,
yeah. Well done. That is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. It was a very proud moment for the lodge. I know I'm speaking for everyone at Cornucopia here, but we were extremely proud to receive that certificate that evening. So I'd just like to thank you very much for that.
You're very welcome. If you ever would like me to come and talk to your lodge as well, you know, I would be happy to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much. We hang out with pride. So
yeah.
I'm just putting it out there. What other lodges are going to be second?
Let's wait and see.
Because we're going to hang that certificate with pride. We're very proud of that. So I challenge other lodges, Cornucopia challenge other lodges to become 100% membership and get one of them certificates as well. Yeah, that was Steve Thompson and Steve Clark in that picture as well. The last point I'd like to raise, Julie, is I know I've heard in the past that you can lose donations due to when the festival comes around. Is that true?
Yeah, it can happen. We do generally tend to see that donations drop during the festival. But, you know, the festival is our main priority, and it has to be. We fully appreciate that, you know, brethren, sometimes they can't do both. They can't support the Masonic Charitable Foundation and the ELMC as well. We do understand that. But where anybody can, we'd really be grateful if they could continue with that commitment to the ELMC as well, for supporting the festival where they're able to.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, I was surprised to hear that sometimes you can lose donations.
It can have an effect, definitely. Particularly, I think we do see a decline in the commitments and those members, the friends. But we also do from lodges as well, because the lodge giving tends to be redirected. So we would benefit if the existing friends could, if they're able to continue, that would make a difference.
Yeah. So please, brethren, do not forget ELMC as we're going forward. One last thing before we finish up. What is your vision for the ELMC, and how can us as brethren support you achieving that vision? How do you see it going?
Yeah, I think really to continue with the work that we're doing, to be able to look after our own, our brethren and their dependents, and to be able to continue to do that. And because I firsthand can see the benefit that does on those individuals, you know, and families have fallen on hard times, and we've really been able to make a difference, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, to have that social interaction with those people, to offer that support, you know, is something that other provinces are quite envious of, really. And we've got to be very proud of that. So if we continue to do that, and to also support, you know, charities within our province as well, and other good causes, which can also make a difference to them. then yeah, that's what I could, see for the future if we can continue to do that.
That is absolutely brilliant. Is there anything else you'd like to add or anything else you'd like to say to us before we go?
No, just thank you for asking me. I appreciate it. It's nice to talk to you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I've met some lovely people along the way since I've been doing this job, and certainly when, in my younger days living at Salford Masonic Hall, and I've been seeing some of those people again who we used to know all those years ago. In fact, one of them is a resident here at Hewlett Court.
Oh.
Who used to be, his father used to be a Freemason in Salford, and he did as well. So
Wow.
I can now look after him as well. Looking after him here. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much.
No, Judy, thank you. And honestly, on behalf of myself, that is phenomenal work you're doing, honestly. And I've learned some more information about ELMC last week that I wasn't aware of. So I'm glad we have the opportunity to share with brethren, because we should be proud of ELMC, and we are proud. And I think supporting you and the work you do has to be done, especially as East Lancashire Masons. Yeah. But I'd just like to thank you myself personally. Thank you, your staff and everyone there, for everything that you're doing for everyone in the community and beyond. It is absolutely outstanding. And I'm proud to be a friend and support ELMC. And hopefully we have other brethren who now know more information. So Thank you very much for joining us, Julie.
Welcome.
Really appreciate it. Daz, if you're coming in, just before we finish up.
It's all right, my camera's not working properly, so thanks, Julie.
You're welcome. Yeah. Anytime.
So on that, anything you would like to add, Daz?
No, that's it. You've covered everything, Dino, as usual.
Yeah, nice one, mate. On that note, it is goodbye from Manchester Masons podcast. Thank you for listening. Become a friend at ELMC if you're not already. And it's ciao for now.